This is something that a lot of people were quite rightly spending a lot of time on. We talked about the white light, and humans are conditioned through their life here to always look towards the light. Hollywood will show films of people having near-death experiences, and suddenly at the light at the end of the tunnel, we say that word, don't we? Light at the end of the tunnel. They walk towards the light, and hey-ho. And in fact, I think one very good thing might be, I can't remember, Russell Crowe played in a Gladiator film, I think, and he had a near-death experience, and it was very bright white light. So don't. If you see bright white light, it's a mousetrap. That's why it's there. What you must do is turn yourself away from it in exactly the opposite direction and travel in that. And again, you will find the white light come towards you. Again, that trap will come there, and you must turn away from it, and you must just say in your mind, I seek to return to where I'm from. Seek the source. And you will keep doing it, and you will either be successful or you won't. It's as simple as that. But if you return to source, the interesting thing is that you will reconnect, and you will remember everything that has occurred. And this is what needs to happen. Everybody needs to reconnect, because all the mistakes that mankind has made will be removed like that, because we'll say, we don't want to do that again. And you imagine, say, a cure for cancer. You think if you take a genuine scientist who really wants to find a cure for cancer, and she's working on that, and then she dies, her soul is wiped clean, she's got to start all over again. But if that didn't happen, she goes back to source, she comes back in another body, all the learning that she did, she adds to. So over a period of 30, 40, 50 years, that can be re-put onto the next one. That's when you get massive advances in technology, masses in science, because people, it's that memory is not lost. But we're continually being wiped clean. That's why everything is stop-go on the earth.
Can you give us an idea, because we talk a lot about health and nutrition, and how this thing called illness comes about on a deep level, a thyroid problem or this or that? I mean, it's everywhere, right? Everybody's got something going on.
Sure.
Can you explain to us, like we're a 10-year-old, and how we got sick?
Sure. It's very simple. Essentially, it's trapped emotion. Unexpressed emotions.
Unexpressed emotions.
If you think back to phrases we were all familiar with, I got so angry I could feel my gall rising.
Yes.
Expressions like that. Well, if we don't express anger, it gets stored away in the gallbladder, and eventually it leads to gallstones. That's what causes gallstones, is unexpressed anger. Or expressions like "get it off your chest."
Yes.
To express what you're thinking and feeling about the situation. And so if we don't express it in that way, then that affects the lungs, and it affects organs like the thyroid, because the thyroid's connected into the fifth chakra, the throat chakra.
The speech and communicating what you really want to communicate.
That's it.
Yeah.
And that's what causes illness. That's what underlies illness, everything. And if this is what part of what we're going through at the moment, as part of this change of consciousness, is the soul wants us to be honest, totally honest with ourselves and with everybody we deal with. And if we're not honest, then we feel a symptom of illness very rapidly, because as we're changing through all these energy changes and becoming more and more aware of who and what we are, we can't hide our emotions any longer. 100 years ago, we could not express ourselves, and we'd come down with some kind of illness eventually, and perhaps eventually we'd die from it. But it would take a number of years for that to happen. But as we progress through this change of consciousness, then everything is speeding up. So if we try to hide emotions away from ourselves or from those we should be expressing those emotions to, then we begin to feel it much more rapidly.
Oh.
And this is why people are feeling symptoms of illness much more quickly than they would ever have done in the past.
I suspect you're accurate, because it's generally all a spiritual component to disease, huh? Mm-hmm. What are some things that people can do, in your opinion, in the short time that we have, Chris Thomas, to release some of these emotions, or clear these, as it's called, to help their physical well-being?
Sure. Again, there's a very simple process that can be used with this. It's based on a Native American tradition of a giveaway. And what you do is, if you can identify a person in your life who has caused you a lot of problems where you should have screamed and shouted at them and you didn't do anything about it, mm-hmm. like most of us do, mm-hmm. What you do is you write them a letter. Ah. Now, so you sit down, you get yourself a pencil and an old newspaper. What you do is write on the newspaper with the pencil. And you say to them exactly what you would have wanted to say to them. Now, the important thing is that you don't read it back. Because if you read it back, you're just taking the emotions back in. So what you need to do is to get the emotions out. What you're doing literally is giving it away to the paper. So this is the reason for writing on newspaper with a pencil, because it's impossible to read it back.
Wow.
So you do that. I mean, this is not a one-off situation. Let's face it, we've all built up a lifetime's worth of emotional debris through our systems. So what we do is, you will need to do this many times. So if you write a giveaway and you then think back on the situation that was connected with that person or event, whatever, and you still feel an emotion attached to it, then it means you will need to do more giveaways over that situation. But if you can think back on it and just see it as an event without any emotion attached to it, then you've cleared it.
And then when we're writing this, are we asking for forgiveness or forgiving them, or just whatever comes up?
Just writing it, basically. And then once you finish writing, just rip it up and get rid of it. Burn it if possible, but if you can't, just rip it up into small pieces and put it in the rubbish, in the garbage.
Are you just recreating the event in your writing?
You're releasing the emotion that you're holding, and you're releasing your version of the events.
Uh-huh.
So, if you confront somebody with a situation, more often than not, they won't even remember it.
Sure.
You're the one who's holding the emotion and had the effect of whatever it was on you, and you're the one who is holding on to the emotion. What you need to do is to get that emotion out of the body.
Boy, that makes so much sense.
This is the best way to do it. It's very simple.
Yeah.
Most people don't like doing it because they think they're going to look stupid for doing it. But until you try it, you don't realize how powerful a tool it is.
Yeah.
It works exceptionally well. I've had people removing cancers from their body by using this method.